Ask anyone who creates, whether professionally or as a hobby, whether art or just a PowerPoint presentation for work, the hardest part is always the blank page. Building any creative idea into a finished piece of work is hard enough, but coming up with the idea in the first place, that's where many people hit a stumbling block. And it's enough to put musicians off writing songs. The great unknown of where to begin. Should I start with lyrics first or music first? So how do we make a start? How do we get words or chords on a page? There's a few little tips, starters for 10, that have helped me in my songwriting, and these aren't ideas that I've come up with. These jumping off points are very much commonplace in songwriting, tried and tested. So stick around for 5 ways to start a song, starting with number 1. Object writing. Now, object writing isn't necessarily about writing a song. It's about coming up with creative ideas and setting your creative brain loose. It's a form of free writing, so paper and pen, no music or melodies, but limited to the 5 senses. So touch, taste, sight, hearing, and smell. Start with a prompt, a noun, a subject, a place, and free flow write about this for 5 to 10 minutes. Now, I went into greater detail about this in one of my other videos, Exercises for Improving Creativity, but the main idea is to just write about your subject or object without overthinking what you're writing. Talk about how it smells, feels, tastes. Think about memories it conjures up. This exercise allows your subconscious to take control and come up with stories from one single jumping off point. Number 2, writing from a title. So we're now moving into actual songwriting, and starting from a title gives us a small prompt that we can expand into anything we like. You see, an interesting title may not give too much away about the song, but it usually contains the DNA for the bigger picture. Use a title as a jumping off point and then dig into the ideas and themes within it. Now, you could look for song titles anywhere and everywhere. You could extract a line from your object writing. It could be something that you've heard in a movie, read in a book, overheard in a conversation. Look around for inspiration, and if you hear something good, write it down and see if you can turn it into a song. Number 3, borrow chords. Now, by borrow, I mean literally take the chords from a song you already like, steal them, but change the key, the tempo, the time signature, the feel, the lyrics, the melody. Once you've changed the chord progression beyond recognition, it'll be a new song idea and a great jumping off point for songwriting. This is about respectfully replicating and nodding towards your inspiration, not blatantly ripping off or copying others' work. Number 4, random inputs. We all get stuck in a rut and end up hanging out in what's comfortable, often producing work we know we're good at. Now, while practice makes perfect, we need some external inputs to help challenge us to create new ideas. And some randomness can help with those inputs. Try grabbing a pack of cards and pulling out a card at random. Now, what could the number and the suit symbolize? The king or queen could symbolize royalty, hearts symbolize romance, diamonds, wealth, 7 days, 7 summits, 4 seasons, etc, etc. See if you can use those cards to trigger some inspiration and write a song from there. Try rolling a dice and using the numbers to guide you. So those numbers could mean number of verses, time signature, number of chords within a progression. You could also try using books to generate random ideas. Try grabbing a fiction book, so a story or a novel, something that has narrative and creative writing in. Open the page at random and look for interesting lines, interesting themes, little plots that you could weave into a story. Now try grabbing a reference book, so a non-fiction book. This could be anything from a thesaurus to a book on science or geography. Do the exact same thing. Open it at random, look for ideas. They don't have to correlate or make any sense, but see if you can combine the ideas from your fiction book and your reference book into something that perhaps you wouldn't have thought of off the top of your head. Number 5, capture and bank ideas. Now, I've mentioned this one in a few of my other videos, and it really is a game changer. Whenever inspiration strikes, capture it, record it, write it down and bank it for future use. I rely on my voice memo app on my phone. I'm constantly singing ideas into it, humming little melodies, song titles, playing guitar riffs, little piano pieces, just anything that I can capture that might not make much sense at the time. It's just a tiny idea, but I know I'll be able to come back to it later. You could go old school and use a dictaphone. You could use a notepad and a pen. You could take photos of ideas. The point here is that whenever you sit down to write a song, you can dig into that bank of ideas, just choose one or two of them that you feel you can develop. And with those 5 little ways to start a song, I will leave you to go and write something amazing. Let me know in the comments if you have any tips or tricks for kickstarting your own songwriting. It's always good to share these ideas with other songwriters. And if you feel so inclined, please gently tap that like button, subscribe if you will, and I will see you in the next video.